All right, to make your complementary color design, you will need a couple supplies. The most important thing is construction paper. And this is where you get to choose which complementary colors you want to use. Remember, on our color wheel, there are lots of different pairs: red and green, orange and blue, and yellow and purple. So which colors are your favorite that you want to use for your design? For me, I really like blue and orange, so I chose those. But for you, maybe you want to use purple and yellow. You could also use red and green. All right, let's learn how to make a design using these two complementary colors. So first thing is to make our paper into squares. Right now, these are rectangles, and I want them to be squares. So an easy way to do that is to take my pencil and find the corner of the construction paper and just pull that corner back. I just chose a corner, it could even be the top. I'm pulling it back. And what I want to do is stop it when I get to the edge of my paper. I want this edge, whoops, this edge of my paper right here to line up with this edge. My goal is to make a square, and when I line these corners up over here and here, I have a point here at the top. I make a mark and a point here. So it kind of looks like this on your paper, and what I'm going to do is just draw a line right next to this paper edge. So I brought that corner over here, I matched these edges up and in the corner, kind of like a triangle, and then I marked here where it ends at the top and the bottom and drew a line. All right. Now, you'll see that there is a vertical line making a square on your paper. I like to save time, so I'm going to set my purple paper right behind it, making sure that it's not unaligned, making sure that it's lined up nice and neat. And I'm going to cut right on this line. I want to make sure I'm holding them nice and tight together, so that I will get a square in purple and a square in yellow. Carefully cut it across. All right, so I turned my rectangle paper into two squares. Now I'm ready to fold them. So I'm just going to choose one. What I want to do is fold it in half. I fold the paper, meet the corners, put my finger in the middle, slide it down to the right and to the left. Fold it in half this way, slide it over. When I open it up, I have 4 different equal squares. All right, let's do the same thing with the purple. Fold it in half. Fold it in half. Now, what we're going to do is choose which color we want to be the color of the design that gets cut out. On this, I left the blue solid, but I cut up the orange. On my artwork, I'm going to leave the yellow solid and cut up the purple. So I'm going to unfold this and cut right along my lines. I really want to be careful that I'm cutting right on my lines because I want equal squares. All right. What I can do is just take these two pieces, put them together, and now that they're together, I can cut them both at once, cut it right down that line that you just folded. I'm cutting on a folded line. Now, how many do I have? I have 4 different squares. I want to stack up those 4 different squares. And here's where I'm going to make my design line. So I'm going to draw it in marker. You don't have to use marker, you can use pencil. And what I want to do is just create an interesting line. What I wouldn't want to do, if this was my purple square, is draw a line that's really boring like that, or just like that. I would make it more interesting, maybe use loopy shapes that kind of look like waves or drips, something like that. Or maybe you want your design to be more angular, going different directions. Maybe you want it to be bumpy, like that. Those are much more interesting instead of these, right? We don't want a single line. We want it to be kind of interesting. All right, on this one, I'm going to make it loopy. Big loops, little loops. From the left to the right side, I'm just drawing one line. Let's outline it in marker so it'll be easy to see when I cut. There is my line. All right, now holding these all at once, making sure they're nice and lined up, not angled out like that. Nice and lined up. I am going to cut on this line. Now, if your design is small, it might be a little bit hard to cut, so you don't want to make it too tiny or too complicated. Maybe you wouldn't want to make it necessarily like that. That'd be a little hard to cut, but this is easier to cut. All right, when I'm cutting with my scissors, if I want a clean line, I like to use the back of the scissors. Sometimes if you use the tip like this, it gets these little hairy edges on your paper. So I'm going to cut with my paper, and when I get to a curve, I'm just going to pinch my paper all together and turn the paper. I'm turning the scissors and the paper so I get a nice clean line. All right, I actually have 2 sides, but I'm going to keep this side. And now I have 4 pieces. All right, let's bring out that yellow paper. And now what we're going to do is just arrange our pieces how we want to put them on our design. And you can see when that purple sits on the yellow, it kind of pops out. That's what complementary colors do. They kind of pop each of their colors out. They complement each other. I like it like this, but you could also make a design or glue your pieces on opposite sides like this, or like this. You should test it out and figure out which one is your favorite. All right, I'm going to test mine out. If I actually did it this way, they would be symmetrical, just like our symmetrical name project that we worked on. So this side is a mirror image or flipped image of this side. But today, I'm going to make them all kind of rotating around the center because I like that design. See. All right, now that I have it figured out, I'm going to just get my glue stick, Make sure my glue is peeking off a little bit, but not lipstick. That's too much. And flip each shape over. I want to be generous with the glue. That means I put enough on so that the paper sticks nice and flat. Pick it up and line up this edge with that folded edge on the yellow paper. It should only go in this one square. Fold it down. Take the cap of my glue stick to just press it down. Do the other. Flip it over. Being careful not to rip my paper when I'm sliding the glue on it. I can kind of hold it with my one hand and glue with my other. Pick it up. Make sure the edges don't have any gaps in between. No gaps like that. Make those purple papers or whatever your color you're using touch to where you only see that color. Always keep one hand when you're applying glue so nothing ever rips. One hand on that paper. Alright, make sure I'm going the right direction, not on the right side. Don't leave a gap of yellow. Bring those colors all the way together. If you're using the cap of the glue stick, you can go from the center out. Instead of pushing it in, it might crinkle. Always go from the center of your shape out. Center out, center out, center out. Press it down. If one shape is kind of flipping up like this, take your glue stick, put a little bit more glue underneath, and just press it down. Easy peasy. Last one. Okay. All right, making sure it's going the right way. We're good. I can even take this and flip the entire thing over and give it a nice massage, pressing down my shapes. All right, and here we have it, my shape collage or my complementary color design is all done. Now, if you see any little bits of paper kind of sticking off on the back, you can see a sliver of purple. You can trim those off if it's bothering you, but you don't have to. Then grab your pencil, write your name on the back, and write March 2021. All right, so for this project, you will create one complementary color design. Choose which colors you want from the color wheel, red or green, blue and orange, or purple and yellow. Cut out your design and glue them onto your squares. After you've finished, take a picture and email it to me and message me with any questions. Good luck.